And it'd be great maybe to hear some of that work. But if we could go back, well, I'm interested in going back to, like, what were the things you were seeing in these kids? Would that be okay to say a bit more about that? Because I think that's an unusual experience to have, a real opportunity to see that whole experience.
Over about 4 or 5 years.
Really?
It was a good process, because certainly people at the beginning, when they're 4 or 5 year old, they're starting to go into school and they're starting to look at the world in a whole different way. And sometimes I would even see the school kids, because they would then go into a different counselling process that I was part of. And so I couldn't necessarily see them not just within that 4 or 5 years. I could actually see them up to about 8, 9 year old. So it gave me a much longer process to do that kind of work. And because I was effectively with the family unit, I could understand the dynamics around the family as well at that time.
Yeah.
So in my world, we do one of 2 reactions to any situation scenario. We either internalize our feelings or emotions, or we externalize our feelings or emotions. So if we internalize our feelings and emotions, we generally speaking will reduce ourselves, will withdraw, will keep ourselves insular. When we're coming under emotional trauma, we will tend to go off and on our own and have walks or read books or do something that's at an insular PlayStation, something that's an insular activity, because we can't express our emotions and feelings well.
Yeah.
So when we come through that process, then the natural aspect is that eventually those feelings and emotions will get bigger and bigger and bigger and more, or less and less able to contain them. And then we need to have an out, because the out is a way of releasing the emotions. And this is where you'll find people have kind of situations where they will react to very small, insignificant things and get very upset by. So they have an over-the-top reaction, if you like. Yeah. So in the 4 or 5 year olds, what I was seeing was that, they'd be quietly playing on their own, doing what they want to do, and then another child will come towards them and try and interact with them. And they will initially move back, move away, keep to themselves. But if that keeps going back and back and back to interact, there will be an explosion. And usually that's not necessarily a helpful one, because they'll either pull things away from them or they'll kind of, push them away. There'll be some physical distancing process. And what you find is that people who have arguments, verbal arguments, then that pushing away with the words is a way of creating distance to create safety.